So the third effective principle we should keep in mind is the concept of 7 C's. Now what these 7 C's are, basically, let's start with the first one, it to be correctness. Now correctness basically is with regards to the content of your letter. Okay, the facts and figures that you're talking about, the grammar, as in no mistake in your tenses, in your genders, in your prepositions, in your punctuations, right place, question mark, not a full stop, explanation at the right place, that's required. Then in terms of your spellings, with homophones and homonyms, I will wait for you and you write the spelling of W-E-I-G-H-T. I am waiting for you, that's W-A-I-T, but you've confused it with the other words. So make sure that when you're trying to communicate, there is correctness in terms of your content. As I said, grammar, the spellings, the content that is giving the facts and figures. Second, we move to the second C that we move forward to is the clarity, the aspect of clarity. Clarity is before drafting a letter, put down all the points that you want to convey to the reader so that you do not have to use the PS, postscriptum towards the end. कि भाई अगर correspondence के हिसाब से you need to let them know that who is the right person they should contact you with regards to this particular letter, then you reply to them accordingly that okay, this person, particular address, maybe the phone number or the email ID can be contacted between so and so time, and you are done in terms of the fact that you clarified the information correctly. And if it's the very first time that you're corresponding with them, you're writing a letter, then keep in mind the consideration that all these points are what I wanted information on. So clarity should be in the head. ये चीजें हैं जो मुझे discuss करनी है, and that's how it will go. The third C, which is known as the conciseness or the comprehensiveness, that is maximum information in minimum words. Avoid tautology, that is repeating the same thing again and again in maybe different active passive voice constraints, or the way you all write answers in examinations, the same thing in different words, which is meaningless. So make sure that your letter is comprehensive in nature. Limited information, maximum information is given to the person reading the letter with the use of minimal words, and the reader is able to understand the same. Then the fourth C we will be talking about is completeness. Now completeness is that in one shot only you are giving all the necessary information, and this will come when you are really clear with your thoughts, when you know what you want to convey, what are the important aspects you've already jotted down. Your completeness in letter will be such that in one correspondence only the opposite person will understand that this is what it is, the procedure of whatever is to be followed, the contact person who is to be followed, the number of days prior to which the person can be contacted to, in case if like say for example, take an example that an employee is new in an organization and he does not know how he can go forward to avail a certain leave. तो पहले से only in his first correspondence only if he's drafted a letter to the HR manager that sir please guide me as to how can I go forward to take a leave, okay, personal leave, medical, and from his parameter also he's very clear, he's making that's what I want to know the process of what is the way to take a medical leave, what is the process to take sick leave, what is the process to take your casual leave, and then the HR is responding to it accordingly. क्योंकि ठीक है इसको ये 4 चीज जाननी है, 3 चीज जाननी है, तो लेट्स गिव हिम कंप्लीट इन्फॉर्मेशन. मेडिकल लीव ये स्टेप्स है, ये पर्सन है, इतने दिन पहले या इतने दिन बाद क्या क्या डॉक्यूमेंट्स जरूरी है. सो मेक योर लेटर कंप्लीट इन द फर्स्ट पैरामीटर के मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस हो सके. Then we move to the next part, or the next C is being concrete, the concreteness, that you are using very clear and clarified words. कोई भी ambiguity नहीं है in your letters. We will see if you want to go ahead with you or not. If you are sure you have rejected the employee, just say that ठीक है, you did not fit what we were looking in from. Best wishes for the next time. Which is clear way of telling the person that you've not been selected. You are not making the person hang. Or you're not, if somebody is giving you a purchase inquiry letter and you have replied to it accordingly and they've not given you an order, So make it clear that, sir, we had a correspondence. We wish to know if you would want to, place an order with us or no, at whatever best prices that we are able to offer to you. And if you're rejecting it, you don't want to go ahead with it, you can always concretely say that, "Bhai, I'm sorry, we'll not be able to go ahead with you because we've already got another purchaser or a dealer or a supplier who's giving at a very concessional rate. So thank you for it, and in case in the future if we need, we'll definitely get back to you." So you close the conversation. So be concrete in it. And last two aspects or last two C's that we should remember is the whole concept of being courteous. Use please, thank you, excuse me, sorry whenever possible, and don't fill your letter with it, but it should be, your letter overall should be courteous in nature. The tone of your letter should come out to be very sophisticated, friendly, rather than rude and arrogant. So please could I have the information for these products, or requesting your presence for this particular thing. Excuse me, sir, I think I missed the conversation. Sorry, sir, you had to wait for the order. We apologize the delay from our end, but there was some transportation issue. So if these kind of words are used in your conversation, naturally it will give an impression that you are sorry, you are genuinely a genuine person to work with, because you are very courteous in nature. When it is your fault, you are saying a sorry. When you really want something, instead of ordering it, you are requesting it, and that always feels good from the sender receiver perspective. And then the last is consideration. The whole concept of you attitude in your letter is where the consideration should take place. You should really be considerate about the other person's needs. If I am telling you that, sir, I will not be able to deliver you so many pieces, can we have it in bits and parts, or can I make the payments for your product in EMI options? If that's a possibility that you can give them that kind of freedom, then give it to them in proper writing. That okay, we understand that अभी मान लो कोविड ही है और payments नहीं कर सके, तो okay, we understand that because of this pandemic, your business may have had may not have had the right kind of sales, or may not have the right kind of profits. So especially for you, we are giving this facility where you can make us part payments. But just requesting you that make the part payments, at the earliest. So make it in 2 months, make the first part. In another 3 and 4th month, make the remaining parts. So and so and so. So always keep in mind these 7 C's when you are drafting the letter. Then the next principle that we go forward to understanding is handling negatives effectively or properly. Now there could be times where somebody is really rude with you, in terms of the fact that तुमने उनको कुछ delivery भेजा होगा and maybe उसके अंदर components damage हो गए होंगे या कम गिरे होंगे, या from your end you are really angry that this is how I have received. So how do you handle these negatives effectively or positively? You always use courteous words and always put forward, kind of bend down, have a little bit of humility and say that okay, I'm really sorry for the trouble that's caused to you. We'll definitely replace the products within a span of 1 week. We also give you the next order pay itna % discount. So that way is what is happening is you are being courteous. Okay, you are using one of the 7 C's and you are handling the negative. Somebody is angry on you and you also get angry on them. What's going to be? 2 anger heads, you're going to spoil the relationship. So whenever you feel that either the sender or as the sender, he is angry at whatever has happened wrong, stay calm, stay composed, take charge of the situation in a very positive manner. That will make sure that your letter also reflects this. We are really sorry for the loss that you had to suffer, or in case if products come gire and they had a bad publicity in terms of the furthermore suppliers. So we are really sorry for the trouble that you had to go through. We assure you that the services will be the same. How the customer care people speak to us even when we are so angry at them. हमारा इतना बिल ले लिया आपने, ये सर्विस नहीं दिया, वो नहीं दिया, blah 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 blah. How they handle it? Very shanti se. We are really sorry, sir. Extremely sorry that you have to go through this trouble. definitely we make sure that we'll solve your errors. Similarly, even when you talk to these Zomato, Swiggy guys, when the order is wrong, how they talk to you, sir, we feel regret that you had to go through it. Okay, what's the best we can do for you? Should we refund the money? Should we send you another item? So that's it. Keep in mind you're handling negatives positively. The fifth principle is pointing out errors systematically, or pointing out errors without causing any offense to the opposite person. So you may have had a fact that time and again the one who is supplying your orders is making mistakes in the number of items that are delivered, or maybe time and again that products are damaged. So rather than being very aggressive, always put it forward in a normal way that dear sir, we've been observing that time and again there are issues with the number of products that you've packed in. Or maybe on a shop floor, the supervisor realizes that this is one person because of which the deadline for a particular thing was not met, and they have lost a huge order. Don't just point it out in front of everybody and make the person feel embarrassed. How you would forward that? I think we all are not, like having a handful of people with you, all your subordinates, and then as a manager, I will be making a statement like, unfortunately, we've lost a big order because of the fact that few of us are not really paying attention, or most of us are not paying attention to the packing deliverables. And we are losing our customers because the packing is not up to the mark. So the person who is at fault would come to know that, okay, this is where I have gone wrong, and you're not humiliating the person in front of everybody. Or in terms of letter writing, when we talk of letter writing, we're not directly putting blame game. कि आपकी वजह से ये हुआ and this is what we are suffering. So that's where we understand pointing out errors without causing true offense. And last is where we understand the aspect of where the technique of emphasizing and de-emphasizing. Okay, when I say that I want to really put forward a point strongly and I want to really reinforce it in your head, probably I'll ask you a rhetorical question. Don't you think that we should really work hard? Which means I don't want an answer. A rhetorical question is, but I don't want an answer. I have put forward a point in a form of a question. कि भाई, we are losing out something. जल्दी कर. When I talk in active sense, it is where I'm referring to the doer. Okay, when I'm talking in the passive sense, it means I'm talking about an action. Right? So what kind of emphasis I'm laying? And when I'm taking a lot of emphasis on planning a certain thing, or planning a certain event, planning a certain way of doing a certain thing, it means I'm putting a lot of people's brainstorming on the point. And because of spending a lot of time on planning that particular event, that particular program, or way of conducting a certain product launch, what is going to happen is a lot of ideas are going to come into picture, and these ideas are going to make sure that we focus at the smaller details and larger picture, the larger ways this program is going to be more effective. So that's where these 6 principles that we spoke of will help and are going to help us in writing our letters, business letters, more effective. Now let's move forward. So we move to the next chapter where we understand principles of effective email writing. Now what basically is an email? Email, as we all know, is an abbreviation for the terminology electronic messaging or electronic mails. So basically email is a method of exchanging digital messages between individuals enabled because of the fact that there is an internet connected laptop, computer or a smartphone. Now, considered to the fact that it is more of a modern method of communication, internet basically has limited barriers to communication in comparison to how it is with traditional methods of communication. Before we move into understanding the principles of effective email writing, we'll quickly just go through the components that we need to understand from the point of view of an email. So an email, as soon as you log into the dashboard, that is using your username and password, you log into your email ID account. As soon as you come on the main page where you're able to see your primary, secondary or send items, I mean the inbox, the drafts and send items, the main page of your email account is known as your dashboard. When you go on the compose mail option, the to is to whom you want to send. The receiver's email ID is where you put in the to. Then comes the CC or BCC. CC is that if you want to keep other people in the loop, apart from the main sender, these are the other people also who should be in the loop of this conversation. And BCC would be where these people should be in part of the conversation, but the receiver should not know that these are the also people who receive a similar mail. Or if it is a sales letter, then everybody's email ID by generally goes in goes in the BCC option. Then there is from as a word. That from is the sender's email address, who is drafting the letter. So if I'm drafting a letter, I'm drafting an email, my email ID will be in the from section of the compose mail option. Then you have the whiteboard where you are able to draft your message. There again you just start with the salutation, the body, your complimentary closure, and in terms of signature will be your name and your designation. And then there is an option of click your button. In case if there is some sort of attachments that you want, some documents where we have the concept of enclosures, or if there's some files or some folders that you have to attach with it, then you click on a U-shaped icon where you are able to then access the folders or files. You attach it depending on the server GB facility. You click on the send and the receiver gets an email. And why email is so important in today's business communication is because in a matter of minutes you are able to communicate and get a reply to it instantly and make decisions easily. Hence email is a more sought after way of communicating in the modern terms of communication aspects, or in modern business parameters, modern business communication. Now let's quickly look at the various principles we should keep in mind when we are drafting an email. Okay. So the very first principle is to keep in mind the 7 C's that we had discussed in the earlier chapter of effective letter writing. So whenever you are writing, keep these 7 C's in mind from the sender-receiver perspective and make sure that your communication is up to the point. Second, we have to remember is the to, CC and BCC concept. Okay, so these email IDs in the to, the CC and BCC needs to be mentioned effectively, correctly. If you go wrong, if you want the main person, if you put the main person whom you address the letter email to in the CC or the BCC, kind of gives an off feeling to the receiver that I'm not important, this letter is drafted to me and I'm put in the BCC option. Hence, make use of the to, CC and BCC option correctly. Then comes the subject line. That is again one-liner. What is it that your email consists of? So is it like again application leave, or is it with regards to the product prices, or is it with regards to certain inquiries? Is it with some application? Use the subject line effectively. Then when you are drafting an email, the body of the email, some things that you have to keep in mind when you are drafting the body of the email is first, don't use all capitals. When you use all capitals, basically it gives a feeling that you are shouting, you're being rude, you're being aggressive, you're making a scene of the fact that I am something. So even in chatting or texting parameter or writing a letter, never use full caps, capital, the uppercase concept. If all your letters are in lowercase, that is the smaller handwriting, the smaller letters, in small letters, okay, then it means you're kind of whispering or there's something secret within your message. So avoid all uppercase, all lowercase. Make sure that you use the sentence formation case, that is, each sentence starts with a capital, after a full stop the next sentence starts with a capital letter. So that kind of gives a definition, that kind of gives a proper reading visual appeal to your email. Secondly, make sure that the fonts fall anywhere between 10 to 12 Times New Roman, generally accepted standard of writing mails. Why is because even if somebody without glasses or with glasses, the size of 10 and 12 as per the survey, as per the research, is a readable size. So make sure that your fonts are selected accordingly. Here also, in case if you want to highlight something, don't use flashy colors. You can use bold. You can utilize the letter. Maybe you can just capital that particular word, or maybe just use a very generalistic light yellow or a blue, or maybe just bold and underline, and make sure that the person understands that this is where you should pay attention to. And in case if there are certain pointers, the way we spoke about enclosures and check it to be checklists. So if there are certain points, use the right kind of bullets. Use dots or maybe the squares. Don't use fancy bullets that are available in the email IDs. That kind of creates that you are not very serious. So for a formal communication, always use the bullets in the systematic order. Use the complementary closures effectively again when your letter is done. Thanks and regards, or yours sincerely, yours faithfully, your signature, your initials maybe, your name and your designation. And last but not the least, in terms of the email, because it's electronically connected, time and again keep taking a backup of it on the cloud's storage facility that's available with various search engines. Sometimes it could be paid, sometimes it could be free. So depending on what plans, depending on what kind of conversational grounds you have, make sure that you have a backup of all your electronic files or emails timely taken into consideration. Now we move to the next chapter, that is with regards to personal correspondence, and that's the last chapter from the module 3 perspective.